All right, today we are diving into something really powerful for anyone in a leadership role. It's a framework called BELLE MORPH. If you've ever looked around at work and felt that massive disconnect between the culture your company says it has and the one you're actually living day to day, well, then this is for you. This is going to be a game changer.
So let's just start with a question that I'm sure most of us have asked ourselves at some point. Why do those company values, the ones that are beautifully designed and printed on posters, why do they so often feel completely disconnected from reality? It's a super common frustration, and it really points to a huge misunderstanding of what culture actually is. The real issue here, the thing we need to wrap our heads around, is the gap between words and actions. On one hand, you've got these abstract buzzwords on a poster: innovation, integrity. And on the other, you have the actual daily behaviors that get rewarded. And guess what? It's those actions, not the words, that create the real culture. And this right here, this is the core philosophy of the whole BELLE MORPH system. It's so simple, but it's incredibly profound. Culture is not made by posters. It is forged every single day by the behaviors that leaders choose to reward, the ones they silently tolerate, and the ones they decide to ignore. That mix is what truly defines any workplace. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to walk through the BELLE framework step by step. That's build, elevate, listen and learn, and empower and evaluate. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how to actually put it into practice and what it really means to be a BELLE MORPH leader.
So first up is B for build behaviors. This is all about the active, intentional work of shaping the culture you want, instead of just letting it happen by accident.
This idea, this single sentence, completely reframes what a leader's job is. It's not about writing some fancy mission statement. It's about auditing your own actions. Seriously, ask yourself, what behaviors am I amplifying, and what am I letting slide, maybe with just an eye roll? The honest answers to those questions, that's your culture right there.
So the process here starts by making hidden behaviors visible. You got to surface those unwritten rules of the team, And then you have to consciously stop tolerating the actions that don't line up with where you want to go. And here's the most important part. You choose one, just one, power behavior. This is that one high-impact action that, if you can amplify it, will create the biggest positive shift for your team.
All right, next up, E is for elevate expectations. So once you've zeroed in on that key behavior, the very next step is to raise the standard for everyone, and that includes you.
And this is such a crucial distinction. We all have big goals, right? Lofty ambitions. But here's the thing. Our culture isn't defined by those amazing goals. It's defined by the lowest level of performance we're willing to accept. It falls to whatever our daily standards actually are.
So how do you actually do this without it being a big confrontation? The Elevate Conversation Framework is this incredible tool. It gives you a structured, non-emotional way to deal with a performance gap. It walks you through stating what you saw, explaining why it matters, clearly voicing the standard, and then, this is key, opening it up for a two-way conversation about solutions. It turns a really tough conversation into a productive one.
The next step is a 2-for-1. It's L and L, listen and learn. And this is all about creating two things that are absolutely critical for a high-performing team: psychological safety and a real growth mindset. Just think of these as two sides of the same coin. They work together. On one side, you have to actively listen for limitations, creating a space where people feel safe enough to be honest about what's really blocking them. And on the other side, you have to lead with learning. You model curiosity instead of blame, and that gives everyone else permission to learn and grow from their mistakes. And this brings us to the final pillar, our second E, empower and evaluate. This is where you trust your team to take ownership, but you also create a really clear system for accountability and growth.
Oh, I love this quote because it totally redefines what empowerment means. It is not about abandoning your team or just letting go of the reins and hoping for the best. No, it's an active process of coaching, supporting, and creating the right conditions for them to grow into their full capabilities.
And here is the difference we have to understand. Delegation, that's transactional. It's about getting a task done. But empowerment? Empowerment is transformational. It's about transferring true ownership and authority to build up someone's long-term capability. Big difference.
Okay, so BELLE MORPH isn't just a bunch of nice ideas, right? It's a system you can actually use. So let's look at how you put this whole thing into practice with the clear, step-by-step plan.
The 30, 60, 90-day activation plan gives you a really clear way to roll this out. In the first month, you're just focused on that one power behavior. In month 2, you empower a new task while also finally addressing one of those negative behaviors you've been tolerating. And by the last 30 days, you're reviewing progress and really locking these changes into your team's DNA. The key is, it's manageable. It's designed to build momentum, not overwhelm you.
So after all this work, what's the real payoff? You know, it actually goes way beyond just creating a better culture. Ultimately, this is about forging a brand new and much more effective leadership identity for yourself.
See, a BELLE MORPH leader really internalizes these things. They lead with integrity by setting and holding clear standards. They listen with courage and they learn out loud, which creates that safety for everyone else. They empower with real, genuine trust. It stops being about a list of things you do, and it becomes about who you are as a leader.
And so, let's just end with one final question for you. Forget about trying to do everything at once. Based on everything we've just talked about, what is the one single behavior you will consciously choose to model for your team tomorrow? Because that, right there, that's where real, lasting culture change always begins.